There's no question that there's a continuity between ancient temples and modern temples.
The difference between those ancient temples and the temples we have today is the difference between the preparation and the fullness. Anciently, sacrifices were performed in the temple. It was a ceremony and an ordinance that was carried on really from the beginning, from Adam and Eve until the ministry of Christ, when in him all sacrifices were done away with.
The teaching and the focus on Jesus was kept alive and kept active and vibrant and powerful long before he ever came in the flesh, so that every generation would understand what he was going to do. Even those who preceded him, they would understand that the day would come that he would be sacrificed for their redemption, for their sins, for their salvation. Today we speak of a broken heart and a contrite spirit. Well, that's another similitude, that's another symbolic statement about the Savior. So the form of the sacrifices changed down through time, but the meaning has always been Christ. The focus has always been on the Savior of the world.
When you enter the temple, time is behind you. You've left it at the door. And you walk into eternity.
From the minute we walk in the door until the concluding hour when we walk out, everything there takes on this eternal grandeur.
The temple is in many ways a school, and it teaches about life, teaches us where we came from, why we're here, and what our possibilities are.
And you get this grand sweep, this wonderful portrayal, the greatest portrayal ever. I mean, it's the best teaching we can do in this church about God's plan for us and what happened before we came to this earth and the purposes now that we're here and what will happen and what our possibilities are and what our capabilities and promises are after this life. Marriage is so central, so fundamental to everything that we know and understand in the gospel.
We enter into an eternal or celestial marriage and know that our family will be together forever, ultimately. In many of the temples, there will be mirrors on each side of the room. And if you stand between the mirrors, there is a corridor of diminishing images that moves on as far as you can see. And it seems as though you are looking into eternity.
That double effect into infinity of the mirrors is such a glorious expression of the way in which Mormon theology transcends the generations and the marriage for eternity and eternity both backwards and forwards, so to say, which in a very simple way is a mighty symbol.
And the things that are eternal in the temple are our families and our family relationships that link us together as far back as we can go and as far forward as we can think.
We live immortal life, and we live together in love, and children are born to us, and then in due time, when we reach mature years, as is the case with everyone, eventually the spirit and the body are separated in the process we call death, and one by one we go through the veil. But there we will assemble. And in due course, our children and their children and their children come, and those family ties are intact. It's a marvelous thing. Man could not have invented that. It's come by revelation. It's a supernal idea.
I don't know how to speak about heaven in the traditional, lovely, paradisical beauty that we speak of heaven. I wouldn't know how to speak of heaven without my wife or my children. It would not be heaven for me. Now, you can say that's wishful thinking, or you can say that's just because you love each other and you've gotten cozy here on earth and you like each other's company. It's a lot more than that. There is something eternal in the statement that neither is the man without the woman, nor the woman without the man in the Lord. That isn't just good sociology. That is theology. It's eternal.